Good afternoon, everybody. This is a follow-up video to one I posted recently in which I refurbished right-hand side switchgear for the Interceptor, and this is just a video to show that I've done the same on the left-hand side. That handlebar set was now going to be on its way to Australia to one of our mates over there who his indicator switch is now crunching and difficult to make it cancel, and his starter button has begun to not work, which sounds very similar to me because mine did exactly that. 2019 bike. So this is classic switchgear that I get from breakers, obviously, you can see that, and this is how I get them. The cast alloy casings on them, and they were made in a different era when I think quality was more valued in many respects. So these are cast alloy shells with far better internal components, which in fact they're a delight to use. I know that sounds a bit nerdy, but when I use my bike, I just love the feel of them. The indicator is just so smooth, and it's not crunching, and there's a positive action on the switches, which you'll see why in a minute. They usually turn up like that with the red flasher switch oxidized because of sunlight. That looks like rust. It's not, because it's alloy casings. It's just general gunge. Sometimes they're gummed up inside, or they've not been used for years, but the quality of them is just so good that they are absolutely... I've refurbished several sets of these, and I've never actually had to give up on one. And because once cleaned and everything, as you'll see later in this video, that they're perfect. So having split the halves and got the manky old screws out, I use this product. Now that's deoxit. It's absolutely amazing, this stuff. That's 142 gram tin, so aerosol, so it's about half the size of a standard air freshener can or something, and it costs 25 quid. However, it is amazing. You can spray that on the cruddiest, greenest, mankiest copper terminals, or indeed anything actually, and it fizzes and it takes it all off, and they just come out like new. So, and it doesn't take a lot of the product, so it lasts a long time and is well worth it. So that's the bottom half. That's the indicator mechanism, and same as the Royal Enfield. You pull the lever to the left to indicate left, and then it pops back to the middle, and to cancel it you push it, as the off and the arrow would suggest, except the components are metal. They're greased there, so I grease all moving parts on it to make it a nice smooth action. This next picture shows the white plastic block at the top. You'll see there's a shiny thing below it. That's a ball bearing, and it's a spring loaded ball bearing on that white square thing. So when you move the indicator lever to the left or to the right, you'll see they're raised just near that white block, slight raised areas. So it's trying to go back to the middle. It's a lovely positive action because of that spring and ball bearing in there that make it return to the centre for pushing then to cancel. That's the top half, which is the headlamp flasher and the dip switch. Each of those switches comes apart, so the cream coloured plastic thing and the white one, they can be disassembled into individual components. Each of those has a ball bearing and a spring in it, so it's not just relying on a spring to push the switch lever back up. It's got a ball bearing as well to give it, and a spring loaded ball bearing to give it a really positive click on, click off. It's really good. This next shot shows just one of the switches. This one I believe is the horn switch, and as you can see it comes apart. The larger of the springs, that's actually part of the circuit. When pressing the red lever, that spring carries current from the contact, which you can just see on the red lever there, to the corresponding contact on the other side, and the smaller spring and the ball bearing That's the. It's not a return spring. It's a positive action spring. It makes you know you can feel it go click. So I grease all those. Grease the ball bearing, which goes into the circular hole in the middle of that white bit, and you just get a really nice positive action. I put the correct block terminal on the end. I found with aftermarket switches, many of which I don't like the look of, to be honest, you've got to do a bit of cutting and soldering and faffing about and looking at circuit diagrams, which not everybody's happy to do. So when I make these, I put block terminals on, and all you've got to do is take the old switchgear off, throw it in the nearest dustbin and put this on instead, and it just clicks straight in. These final shots here, that's the end product. That metal tab that's bent down there, that is actually a clamp. So when you tighten the shells of the switchgear, it clamps onto the handlebar. Now the Royal Enfield switchgear has a hole, it has a peg sticking out of it because it's only plastic and you can't tighten it too much. And if you look on your handlebars, you'll see there's a hole in there, and it locates to stop that switchgear spinning, because it can't be done by force alone. But with this switchgear, it can be because of that clamp. You just tighten it up using the Allen bolts here, so it grips, which is a good thing, because on my bike, I've got aftermarket handlebars, stainless steel ones. I didn't really want the switches in the same position as the stock switch, with the locating pin and the hole in the handlebars. It didn't feel right to me. So with these, you can turn them at an angle and alter the angle of the switchgear, which I've done on mine. And stainless Allen bolts, they just tighten it up. I put those on. It says Yamaha, but it's, you can't see, it's pointing downwards. So it doesn't bother me to have the word Yamaha on it. That's a side view, obviously. The paint finish is, well, I put 2 coats of etch primer, having stripped the old paint off, 2 coats of etch primer and about 3 coats of black onto the actual cast alloy bits. And I have a little secret trick for the red switchgear, which I'm not telling anybody, because it's mine, all mine. Then they come out looking like that. So as you can see, the grubbiness of that grey switch is just me putting it together and having dirty little fingers, but I clean it up before sending it off. I don't bother filling in the word horn on it, which is engraved into the red switch. Just, I could, I suppose, but everybody knows where the horn is, don't they? This is another shot. Yeah, that grubbiness look, that was me in my haste to take pictures. So I just clean that off before sending them off. And the cable sheath in there, I remove it completely and clean it, because it's good stuff. And on my Royal Enfield, all the stock sheathing is beginning to split and crack on all the joints. Anywhere where there's cabling, I don't know what they make it out of, but my original handlebar switches were just split, or on all the bends. If you straighten remove the switchgear and straighten the sheathing, it just cracks. So this stuff has lasted 30 plus years already, and it's still great. There's a front view of the switch, so that's the headlamp flasher. And I think it makes a difference having stainless Allen bolts. You can clamp them up nice and tight. You're not using crosshead screws. Personally, I quite like the look of them on the bike, full stop. There's that's a repeated shot, that one. But they're just so nice to use. I think, well, I'm looking on eBay, I'm absolutely horrified by the cost of stock switches from breakers. I did see on a forum this morning where somebody said his indicator had packed in, so he bought a pre-used one from eBay and fitted that, and then 2 weeks later it did the same thing. So he was saying, what can I do? So there it is. There's the switch on my own bike. Obviously you can see my stadium mirrors. They're pulled into the retracted position to get the bike through my garden gate. So that's it. That's the full handlebar set done. And like I say, they'll be going to Oz. So before you know it, there'll be somebody out parking his bike and throwing another shrimp on the barbie and drinking Castlemaine 4X. And he'll have got there because his switches work. Anyway, there we go. That's it. I'll post again soon. I've got another little mod I'm doing. I'm just waiting for the bits, and I'll post again soon. So take care on your bikes. I've been out on mine today, and I think it's great. I just love the bike. I really do. I've got a Pan-European that's 23 years old, a Honda, 1100cc V4, water-cooled, shaft drive. Yep, luggage to the max. And it is good. It's a great bike for cruising at, 80, 90 miles on the Autobahn or whatever. And it's fast as well, but the Interceptor, it's just so good to use. Totally different riding experience. A lot more interesting. But anyway, I waffle on. I'll leave you to it. Take care of your bikes, and I'll post again soon. Bye for now.